humans, Disney fans.
Wait. Something feels different.
What is it?
I don't know. You tell me. It doesn't feel like one of our normal videos. It's almost like something has changed.
Something has changed within me. Okay, so I think what's happening, I think I'm picking up on what you're saying. This isn't just a video.
What?
I know! It's also going to be our first ever Lend Me Your Ears podcast!
Podcast!
That's right, the Lend Me Your Ears podcast where we talk all things Disney.
Wow.
Is that still okay with you?
I think so. This could even be more fun.
It's gonna be great, right?
I don't have to look as beautiful as I always make myself out to be.
Well, it's still gonna be on YouTube, but a lot of people will listen. If you're listening, Sherif looks beautiful right now.
It's so true. I'm wearing my Thor ears.
And his hair is coiffed, as
Coiffed.
he said. Coiffed. So on this first ever episode, we are talking Marvel,
Okay.
the new movie, Shang Chi, and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Shang-Chi.
And with my good friend, Sherif Kung Fu Master Mansoor.
Ah,
Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready for this.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's go!
All right, everybody, here we are. We're very excited. This is our very first podcast. Thank you for coming back, Sherif. If you do not know Sherif, he has been with us many, many times on the YouTube channel.
2 years now. We've been doing videos together.
Isn't that crazy?
It is a little while.
And it's just flown by because time flies when you're having fun.
And arguing.
And arguing,
Which
which
we do a lot.
do a lot. I cannot wait to hear what you thought about this particular movie. We went to see it together
We did.
on Sunday, shared a little bit of Kit Kats and popcorn, and watched Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
There was nothing little about the amount of popcorn that was consumed by our two families.
We ate a lot of popcorn.
We ate a lot of popcorn. Like I could feel the sodium spike within me.
Your wife said that she, toward the end of the movie, was not feeling well.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, maybe that's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Carla did not want to see Shang-Chi.
She didn't.
She did not. But she loves going to the movie theater.
Okay.
Because she wants to eat that sweet, sweet movie theater popcorn.
With all the extra butter.
And just put her feet up and relax for a couple hours
We
without
did.
anybody saying, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy.
Right?
Yeah.
And we went to the theater with the recliners.
Yeah, Hudson Regal Cinema. If you're in Northeast Ohio and you want a nice,
Recline all the
comfortable,
way back.
it's so nice. It's not as good as the one up. Where is it? There's one where it's like couple seats. So it's
Ooh.
like you and your partner.
And there's no armrest, so you can like snuggle.
You can put up the armrest, but
Wow.
it exists if you want it, and it's like this big thing, and you're swimming in it, and it goes up. It's incredible. It could be.
I have not visited that.
You could lay
theater.
down like it's a bed.
But here is the problem. If you go to a movie that's maybe a little slower, like if you're dragged to a movie by your significant other that you're not very interested in, then
You'll fall asleep.
you're gonna fall asleep.
Definitely.
And then you've spent $10 on a fancy nap.
You're paying for the peace and quiet of it.
Sure.
The nice
sure.
ambient noise.
And like you said, no kiddos. Mommy,
Yeah.
help me, mommy.
Not that we love the children.
Of course.
they can be
Sometimes
a
you just
little
need a
crazy.
break. So we took a break.
Yeah.
And we went to see Shang-Chi. I think I'm saying it right.
They made fun of the fact that it's
He,
going to be
of
hard to
course,
pronounce.
yes.
So, yeah, you're doing your best, and that's all that
had
matters.
the whole scene on the airplane where he's talking to Katie and she's saying it wrong and she makes fun of how like, wow, your name was Sean and you decided to change it to
Sean?
Sean.
Give me a break. I was 15.
That was really, really cute. And I loved, let's just jump right in. I loved their friendship. And I loved that
Yeah.
it seemed to be just
I was going to
a
say that.
friendship.
Yeah.
At the end, it was so cute when they went to follow Wong through the port. Spoilers. Spoilers.
So many spoilers in this review of a movie. Don't listen to this if you have not seen the movie.
Listen to a movie review if you haven't seen the movie. I guess
It's not
some,
a review.
Yeah, we're breaking it down,
Yeah.
I guess. I guess some reviews are just like, I liked it, go see it, or I didn't like
Yeah.
it, don't go see it. No, this is like full spoilers. So at the end, when they followed Wong through the portal and he like held his arm out and she was like, la la la, and they like went
Yeah.
through, like they're just chummy. And
Yeah.
I love it. I love that it didn't have to be some sort of a romantic
Yeah,
thing.
nary a mouth kiss to be seen, but lots of like clear signs of affection and friendship, and it was nice. It was
Yeah,
nice.
for a second, I thought they were gonna like go down that track when he was at the Fight Club and he took his shirt off and she looked at him like, what?
I looked at him like, whoa, holy
But
cow.
I think it was more like, dude, you work out? Like I didn't know. I don't think it was like, oh, you're fine. I think it was just like, wow,
How did I miss this?
you were hiding that.
Yeah, we've known each other for 10 years, and
Yes, what do you want?
I found out that the gentleman who plays Shang Chi, I think his name is Sinu?
I should have looked up the actor's name.
I have it on my phone.
I know that Katie is Aquafina.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, Simu Liu.
Okay, what about him?
He used to be a stock photo model.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And look at him now, Ma. Look at me now. Yeah.
Did you find some photos of him? Did you search and find?
I know it popped up on Facebook because Facebook knows what I'm into.
Yeah.
They're creeps, but they are very accurate creeps. So just this morning, before I hopped in the car to come here, it popped up and it's like, hey, congrats to Simu Liu. And it showed stock pictures of him in the boardroom and stuff.
That's great. Everybody has to start somewhere. We're starting here with this podcast, and someday, Sherif, we're just gonna
be doing this podcast right here.
Be stars! Stars! So, where do you want to start delving into this movie?
Did you like the movie?
Okay, that's the big question, right? I figured we'd address that at the end, but you want to do that now?
I guess that's how I process information, but your show, you want to do it at the end?
Let's rate it at the end. Let's give it a number at the end, okay?
Okay.
I enjoyed the movie.
I enjoyed the movie too.
We are not speaking about Black Widow right now because it's been a while since that movie came out.
I just saw that right after I saw.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's fresh to you, but to everybody else, to our listeners, it's been a while. They've
I
seen
bet
it.
most of our listeners haven't seen it.
You think so?
Yeah, $30 on streaming service seems like a lot.
Oh, sure. I wanted to mention that I liked it significantly more than Black Widow. So, and I know we're going to be doing a movie ranking of all of the Marvel movies, so
which
I don't
I'm super excited about.
Give away too much of where it would fall there, but it's significantly higher than Black Widow. Mainly because Black Widow felt so inconsequential to anything that's happening in the MCU right now.
Black Widow
took
has
a step back.
Already passed.
Yes, it's okay, so?
And because now they're so mad at each other.
Who's so mad at each other?
Scarlett Johansson and Disney.
Oh, I know. That's a whole thing. But we don't. Okay, back to Shang Chi. Okay, so let's talk about that first fight scene on the bus.
I kind of thought it was going to be a bit hokey at first.
Yeah.
But they balanced the action scenes and the humor of it very nicely with a guy who decides to live blog it and introduce himself.
Oh, that was so funny.
It was.
I forgot about him too.
Oh, no, that was because I'm sitting there going I can see this happening in today's world, and this is obviously an exaggeration, but also, this guy had incredible content, and then later they refer to him as Train Boy.
Busboy.
Busboy, that's right, Busboy.
And the way Marvel is too, I wouldn't be shocked if that guy taking the video shows up again, or his videos show up again. It's the same. They just love to throw in little details like that. One thing that my husband mentioned specifically about the bus scene was he was in love immediately because he felt it reminded him of a Jackie Chan movie, which he really enjoys.
Jackie Chan's company did all the stunt coordination for that.
Did they?
They did. One of the guys, one of my friends who is a bagger at Acme and Hudson, Brett, shout out to Brett. We were chatting about the movie on Tuesday, and he's like, "Did you know?" And I'm like, "I did not know, but that makes so much sense." Yeah, it had a lot. It did have that feel. He was
I'm not an expert, but from what I remember hearing, he was really the one who ushered in, before that, any martial arts type movie was all, tough and,
it was Bruce Lee.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He really, brought the humor into the martial arts type movies where he would react and, oh, that hurt, actually react to the pain.
But he also did all his own stunts, so when he got hurt, it was him.
Amazing. My kids watched Shanghai Noon with Owen Wilson, Mobius.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They want to watch it again. And we were like, you got to watch Rush Hour. It's really good.
Should
and
we
funny.
hashtag, there are going to be spoilers to other Disney shows and movies, so if
Possibly,
you haven't seen
guys,
Loki...
We might talk about any and all things.
Yeah, if you're not fully caught up, we are so
Mainly
sorry.
Shang-Chi, but yes. And do you think Loki would have beat Wanda if we had done the bracket, the character bracket after Loki?
Definitely! Loki's so much better than Scarlet Witch.
But we would have had
the show, Loki, is so much better than the show Scarlet Witch.
Loki was phenomenal.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, we're not talking about Loki. But anyway, the bus scene was great. I'm trying to think of what the other action scenes were. So there was the bus scene. There was also the fight scene in the Fight Club, where we also saw Wong and Abomination from the Hulk.
I would not have known that was Abomination had you not said that was Abomination.
The only reason I knew is because I had seen some spoilers, not on purpose. I don't go searching out spoilers. That's like not my thing. I don't like doing that. But I had seen somebody like, Wong and the Abomination are, and I'm like, really? Don't just post things, people. If the movie just
podcast them if you're gonna do anything,
and warn them that there's spoilers. It is supposed to be Abomination, and what a strange callback. Like, of all the people, like, I don't know if he's gonna be in more MCU movies now in Phase 4. Why would they bring back Abomination, not just have Wong fighting some other random person?
Well, more spoilers. We're going to stop saying spoiler warning, right? You guys understand?
You understand, yes.
Wasn't it at the end of this movie when we saw Dr. Bruce Banner, not as Smart Hulk, but as Bruce Banner?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Because I loathe Smart Hulk.
I know you do.
I do not like him at all. He's not as smart as Bruce. He's not as strong as Hulk. He's worthless. We've talked about this before. So I was so thrilled to see him as normal Bruce Banner. And you know what was funny? I heard somebody in a breakdown video of this movie saying, and Bruce Banner, a much older looking Bruce Banner. And I'm like, guys, they alluded to like, why is he older? I'm like, Mark Ruffalo's a real person who ages. I know.
Yeah, but
shocking.
Also, this is in the timeline post.
Yeah, but it can't be that much post because his arm was still in a sling from snapping everybody back.
Yeah, that could be a permanent condition.
Oh, you think so?
It could be.
Oh.
Did you see Thanos? Thanos' arm in
his arm was all
Endgame?
You're right. So maybe he just has to wear a sling forever. I am really not sure where it fell in the timeline. Obviously, it's after Endgame, but outside of that, I'm not sure.
Because they reference the snap.
Oh, absolutely, they reference the snap. I think I heard someone say that it might even be in the timeline after No Way Home. That, like, because everything got, like, scrambled about, that No Way Home was actually supposed to come out before this movie.
Okay.
And that this movie is actually placed after that. I don't know. But we had the bus scene.
Yeah, the bus scene, the
Fight Club scene, where he fought his sister, saw his sister again. We have to talk about the sister, too. And I wish I could remember what her name was, but I'm just going to be referring to her as the sister. I feel like it was Sue. Yeah, but I feel like you pronounced that Su-ling. Su-ling, maybe?
Could be.
I don't know. And I don't want to be wrong, so I'll just call her his sister. And then we also had, there was like a car chase. A little bit, I was like, okay, they're just checking off all the boxes. Like, we have to have the car chase. We have to have the fight scenes. We have to have the big epic battle at the end. And I mean, yes, they do. But at what point is this all going to become old? Because it's just a formula.
You don't usually get the scene where the terrorists and the monks get together to fight a common enemy. That
was unique. And I did enjoy that, how his name was Razor Fist, right? Yeah. Was like, after he saw the Soul Sucker taking out one of the souls, he's like, okay, yeah, guys, we need to work together. And those things were like, there was no way to defeat them except that dragon scale
that's
stuff,
right.
Which is a whole nother. I wanted to talk a little bit about how Talo reminded me a little bit of Wakanda.
Okay.
Just that they're like
separated and hidden.
Yeah. They're hidden. They have this special magic. They have this special armor that's not as powerful as vibranium, but is the only thing that will defeat
Right, so it's mystic armor.
Yes.
As opposed to the Wakandan, which is more physical.
Which is more physical, more scientific, because it's like an actual like mineral from meteorite or whatever that hit. But just there were some similarities there. And I wanted to talk also about another similarity that I picked up on. This is crazy, Sherif.
Okay.
You might disagree with me.
I probably will.
Because Zach thought it was a stretch.
Okay.
But halfway through the movie, I'm like, okay, so I'm watching Star Wars. Let me explain. You got the brother and the sister, you got the evil dad, and you got the good mom, and the evil dad is not a straight. Like, because of this, I kind of predicted what was going to happen with the dad. I'm like, he can't just die. And no, at one point, Shang-Chi is like, I'm going to kill my father. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. He's going to somehow redeem himself, which he did. He sacrificed himself for his son to survive. And then you also had, like, the aunt, who was kind of like the Obi-Wan character, and you had Trevor and Morris, who were like the C-3PO and the R2-D2, like the comic relief. And even Katie was kind of like a Han Solo-esque character who just kind of is along for the ride and is totally different from everyone else. But do you see some of the correlations
Yeah, for
here
sure,
I'm talking
for
about?
sure. Especially when you consider the parallels between the father and the what's his name? Darth Vader.
Right. And I wish I remembered what the father's name was also. Wen, maybe?
Zhu Wenwu.
Wu. I think at some point they were referring to him just as Wu.
Sure.
So I definitely saw, and again, I'm like, okay, we're just at a place where, like, there's nothing new under the sun. You know, some of these classic tropes are going to be reused in movies, and it's just the way it's going to be.
That's almost unavoidable.
Yeah.
That's why all the movies we see in theaters now that aren't comics tend to be like re-releases, or they're remakes of older movies.
They are remaking a lot of the older films for today's audience. So it was good. I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. I also feel like, and I'm not an expert, but I feel like Star Wars in general did borrow a lot from, like, Eastern culture in some of the things that they did, and also just like the yin yang of it all, like with the dark and the light and the balance. And I also felt like,
again, mysticism. Yeah,
like that was a lot of Shang-Chi's battle, was that even when he told Katie, he's like, you know what, I actually did kill that guy that killed my mom. You know, before he said that he didn't. To me, that was like, for him, that was probably a big deal. Like, does he feel like he's getting turned to the dark side, for lack of a better term? Like, he is going down a path, and I think that if he had killed his father, he maybe would have continued down that path, which maybe is what his sister's doing now. Because at the end scene, he's like, oh, she's cleaning up the compound. No, she's taken over, and she now is training female assassins, whatever.
In addition to the normal male terrorists.
Yes, she had them all. I mean, it was obviously it was important to her that women also be trained, because she was not. She did a pretty good job.
She was allowed, yeah.
She did a pretty good job training herself.
She watched.
And I really enjoyed watching her scenes with the rope and the dagger that she was. I'm sure there is a technical name for that, but I'm not sure what.
I don't know what it is either. I'm a pretty big nerd.
So, all that to say, I felt like there were a lot of formulaic things that reminded me of Star Wars. But that's okay. I also even felt like toward the end, there was a time when the Great Protector Dragon did this little swirly thing, and then he went whoop, through the swirly, and it made kind of the shape of a yin-yang, kind of.
I think that was the eternity symbol.
Oh, you think so?
I think that's what they were going for. I think. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. So let's get more into some of...
It's called a Kyoketsu Shoji.
Is the rope and the dagger?
I think so.
Yeah, that was very, very fun. And I love that Katie ended up being really good at the archery.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it.
It was cute. I mean, they had to give her something to
I really
do.
like...
She couldn't just stand around.
Awkwafina's really talented.
Yeah, I
She's
don't know
very
much about
funny.
her. Saw her in Jumanji 2. That's the only other thing I've seen her in.
Hey, you haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians?
I haven't!
Oh, you've got to
I
see
need
Crazy
to.
Rich Asians.
I
It's
need
really
to.
funny. It sounds like I'm saying agents. I'm saying Asians.
Okay, I hear
Yeah.
you. I hear you. Okay, so she's talented.
She is. She's been in a bunch of stuff. But she's just very funny. And she is in this movie. But,
I enjoyed her. Yeah.
Yeah, she pulls off the part very well.
And it wasn't. I mean, I was maybe a little bit like, really, but it wasn't too unbelievable that he allowed her to come with him. I mean, it needed to happen for the storyline, but I was also a little bit like, really?
In that sense, I felt like
your
Katie.
friend.
I felt like Katie was an avatar for the audience. She was not going to be
Sure.
left behind.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is way too interesting. Say what you will, I'm coming.
And seeing things from her perspective, that's
Yeah.
the same way we're seeing everything go down.
Yeah.
So, I watched a video talking a little bit about the magic aspect or the mysticism, like you're saying, because there's all sorts of different magic in the MCU. You know, Wanda's got her magic, and Doctor Strange has his magic. The Asgardians have a certain amount of magic.
So the Asgardian magic is similar to this magic. I think they're also considered mystics.
Oh, okay. But one thing that I heard was that basically, and I think this is accurate, they draw their magic from that place, from the Great Protector, the dragon. And that if they are not in Talo, they do not have those powers. Sure, they still are able to fight because they've been trained to fight. But there was a scene right before the mother was killed. Shang Chi said to her, but you don't have your magic here. So I think that they only have that magic where they were able to like move the air and kind of float on the air when they are in Talo.
Got it.
And one thing that would be really interesting is like, okay, where I want more backstory. Where did this Great Protector come from? Where did that giant soul sucker come from? Like, are they other dimensional beings? Like, we're getting into that a little bit.
The soul sucker certainly seems other dimensional.
Right? And we're getting into other dimensional beings a little bit if you're watching What If. If you're not watching What If, first of all, stop what you're doing and watch What If.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good, yeah.
I personally love it so much. But we definitely have been seeing other dimensional beings in the Doctor Strange episode of What If and in the Captain Carter episode of What If with that tentacled being and all the beings that Doctor Strange absorbed. Again, spoilers.
Yes. Yes. More spoilers.
So, but that was very interesting. What is happening here?
I'm just looking to see if Shang-Chi is considered mystic, and he's not, actually.
I thought you were just like playing a game. We're having a conversation. Sherif just pulls out his phone, starts playing a game.
Doing research.
Okay, tell me what your thoughts are on Dad. Dear old Dad, Wu. Do you feel like he was a sympathetic villain?
No.
No. Okay.
This guy spent 1,000 years murdering other people.
What they were going for.
And then fell in love, and he's like, yeah, my love is more important than anything else. It's, spoiler, it is exactly the same scenario that we found ourselves in the What If episode of Doctor Strange.
Ugh!
He lost his mind because he was in love. Mm-hmm. And decided that he can destroy the world so he could be happy, so he could be with his love.
Well, isn't that most of the, like, superheroes' kryptonites are their loved ones, for the most part? Because they are always in harm's way because of the superhero and what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but they're usually putting themselves in harm's way to protect other people. They're not putting everybody else in danger.
Okay, but to Wu's benefit, he didn't know that he was putting everyone else in danger. He was convinced.
He was told.
But he was convinced that she was in there.
He believed what he wanted to believe.
Okay, maybe, but he also was hearing her voice. Yeah. I think he was so entranced. It was, and again, this reminds me so much of Star Wars. Like, Padme, really? You're falling for this guy? And I don't know. That was a little bit unbelievable.
Wants what the heart wants.
That Mom would go for Wu when she knew
also true
about everything. I mean, I guess in the forward at the very beginning, she's like, he's the last person I ever would have thought I would have fallen in love with. Well, yeah, because he's like, didn't he literally say he was Genghis Khan?
Yeah, it's like one of my names. I know many names. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, so he was Genghis Khan, and then obviously now he was the actual Mandarin.
So it sounds like he's not claiming the moniker of Mandarin. He's saying that Trevor Slattery based himself off of him and called himself the Mandarin, but not that he is the Mandarin. There is no real Mandarin.
So help me understand. See, I disagree with you a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because Disney is really distancing themselves from the comic book portrayal of the Mandarin, which was super, I think it would be called xenophobic. A racist portrayal of a Chinese person. Okay. And I think this is their out. Trevor Slattery, a white guy, was calling himself the Mandarin to scare people, and it's scared them. But the actual Chinese version is not this racist trope. He's different. He's got other names.
Let me tell you how I understood it. And then the people can decide. The people can say in the comments, tell us what you think. I understood it to be, because even in Iron Man 3, it wasn't Trevor Slattery who was like, I'm going to be the Mandarin.
Correct.
It was, what's his face?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Hydra,
Guy
the Scientist
Pearce.
Supreme. Yeah. Scientist Supreme.
I don't remember what his character's name was. Anyway, and that he wasn't the Mandarin either, that it was that guy pretending to be the Mandarin and putting Trevor Slattery out as the figurehead, but that Shang-Chi's dad really was the Mandarin, that he really did do things in the 60s.
Yeah, he was the figure that they were basing him off of, but the name, the Mandarin, I think what they're saying in the story was made up by the production.
So he was that person.
Correct. But the name, the
yeah,
Mandarin.
because he did allude to, he's like, really, of all the things, like they named
exactly.
me after an orange or something like that.
Yep.
So, okay, I see what you're saying. I think we are on the same page. But I just felt like they were trying to paint him as a somewhat sympathetic villain because he was just trying to save his wife. But it was at all costs. It was like, but no, you can't do this.
Marvel has done a pretty good job of giving us some sympathetic villains. For example, who's the bad guy from Black Panther?
Killmonger.
Extremely sympathetic figure. That makes so much sense to me. Wu did not attain my sympathy.
At all.
Not really. Again, he started off too evil.
Yeah.
That just being like, oh, I will do anything to save the ones I love. Yeah, everybody will do anything to save the ones they love. That's not making you a good guy.
Let me ask you this, because this is another parallel that I thought of. I felt like what happened with him, you could also make a argument that it's similar to Clint Barton's storyline. That Clint was kind of like this undercover BA, spy guy, settled down, got married, had kids, and then when he lost it all, he went crazy and started killing people.
But he wasn't killing people, he was killing bad guys.
Those are still people, sir.
Yeah, but that was the whole idea. That's renegade justice, right? He's a spirit of vengeance out to protect those who cannot protect themselves.
Yes, but he still went on a killing spree.
Yeah. Killing is bad.
Because his family was unjustly taken from him. So I feel like what Wu did right after, he went and he took Shang-Chi with him. That was like really hard to watch. When he's got the little boy there and he goes and he like murders the guy right in front of him.
You have to get confirmation that it's the right guy.
Oh, that was rough. I felt a lot of sympathy for Shang-Chi and his sister growing up in that type of a situation. And the fact that they were able to distance themselves from that and not, well, at least Shang-Chi was like, the sister, not so much. The sister.
Her situation was so much harder.
She was there longer. She was there through those formative teenage years, and he wasn't. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So let me look at my notes here. What else I wanted to touch on? What did you think about Morris?
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, I mean, the puppy with no face that can communicate with Trevor Slattery. So I just assumed that it had some sort of telepathic abilities.
He was so cute. However, I would like to say I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with him because it felt very much like Disney was like sitting around the table talking about this movie like, okay, and what can we have that will be a huge merchandising thing?
Sure.
They already have a stuffed animal of Morris, which it works, guys. I need to purchase it.
Yeah,
I need him. He is so adorable with the 6 little legs and the little wings, and he squeaks and stuff. He's so cute. But it definitely felt like he was not necessary. They could have figured out another way. They could have found a map that led them through the tree forest. And I guess he and Trevor did serve as a little bit of comic relief. But they already had Aquafina there. Like, she's already funny. So, and I also felt like Trevor Slattery was very like, okay, it's a Marvel movie. We need to bring someone back from another movie. Who's it going to be?
If you have a chance to reuse Ben Kingsley, you absolutely reuse Ben Kingsley. Yeah. I actually, because watching that movie, Iron Man 3, one of the worst Marvel movies to date, I'm like, wow, what a waste of Ben Kingsley.
It is my least favorite Iron Man movie, for sure. I tried watching it again recently.
Hold on. We're touching on topics we're going to cover in other pods.
Sure. Yeah,
all I'm saying is that it seemed like a waste of Ben Kingsley, but here we go. They've run him back. He's alive and well.
He is alive and
He
well.
could come back again. Now he's in multiple universes within the Marvel multiverse.
It was really cute when he was like playing dead and Morris was like, he's like, I'm just pretending.
Acting!
Because I love that because do you know how many times I've watched a movie where I'm like, just pretend you're dead.
Yeah.
Just pretend. Like zombie movies, whatever. Like just lay on the ground and pretend you're already dead. That's what he did.
Although in zombie movies, they'll eat you.
They can still sense that you're alive,
They,
even if you're pretending to be dead.
Your flesh is not spoiled.
Okay, so they would know.
They should.
See, but zombies are different. Okay.
Yeah, zombie movies are very in. There's so many different types of zombie movies.
Right.
And even within, like, if you just watch Walking Dead, like, the difference in the zombies from season 1 to now, it's a big difference in them. The zombies have changed.
I have not seen The Walking Dead. I know, I'm behind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's talk about our buddy Wong also, who we saw in this movie.
Couple times.
He's all over the place. Not only is he in this movie, he's also in What If, and he's gonna be in No Way Home. Like he's just everywhere. And of course, and he was fighting Abomination, but we already talked about that, right? But the karaoke scene at the end, I wanted to just
that was really
mention
funny, yeah.
how hilarious that was, and that they picked the Hotel California song that Katie had used. That was another hilarious part.
Yeah.
When the scaffolding fight on the scaffolding.
Yeah.
That was a really great scene. That was very, very cool. And when the person came up to her and she's just on a dark desert highway.
Because she could not hold a tune in a bucket, and she's going for it. And I guess that's why I really like it.
And it maybe did disarm the other person like for a second, but they were like, "What? No, you need to die." That was really, really great. And then, here's another thing. I turned to my husband and said during the movie, I was like, "Please, please, please, Disney World at Epcot, make a Shang-Chi ride, please." Like the China Pavilion at Epcot, like really the only thing they've got going for it is they have like this 360 movie and it's old. It's probably original to Epcot. They need a ride back in there.
I've got an idea for you.
Yeah.
I think Disney within the next few years are going to either have a new park or completely repurpose a park to be just Marvel.
Okay.
It's going to be the Marvel park.
And if they do, it won't be in Florida because what I understand is there is something, because Universal has some of those characters at their parks, that the Florida Walt Disney World Amusement Park cannot use any of the characters that they have at Universal.
Wow. Who do they have at Universal?
And I don't understand why they can do it in California. Like, they just opened the Avengers campus in California, and, like, Spider-Man is there and stuff. When I've been to Universal before, Captain America was there. Oh, my goodness. Who else? The Hulk. I mean, their ride. They have a ride that's called the Hulk.
Didn't know that.
So, but there's also a Universal Studios in California. I don't know if they just don't have those characters there, but there is something legally stopping Walt Disney World from having those characters.
Wow,
now, they have a Guardians of the Galaxy ride that they're developing that's going to be in Epcot because those characters are newer and they were just in the MCU. Like, they don't have those characters.
They were by and large cast-offs in the Marvel Universe that only like super diehard fans knew about.
Right, until
recently.
These movies, and now everybody loves them.
There are a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy characters.
Really?
Yeah, they did not introduce us to all of them. Some of them are super weird.
But I think that when Disney makes a movie like this, it's always in the back of their head and it's always on the table that they are thinking of ways to incorporate some of the scenes from the movie into a potential ride at one of the parks.
That makes sense.
Maybe not even Walt Disney World Epcot, but maybe in Hong Kong Disneyland or Shanghai Disneyland. Like, it would be great out there, obviously. Like, the entire ride of them going through the trees, and then they go through the water, and there's that swirly water thing, and then at the end, you can be riding on the back of the Great Protector.
That'd be super fun.
Which, when you mentioned that you thought the bus scene would be hokey, I did feel like some of the scenes with the Great Protector were just a little hokey. Reminded me of, like, the Never-Ending Story, when they're, like, riding on the back of him.
Sure, yeah.
I was like, okay. I don't know why.
You can't have a dragon and not ride a dragon. It's not possible. If you think of any dragon movie, somebody's gonna ride that dragon.
Somebody has to ride the dragon. It just, I don't know. It just felt, and I can't even tell you why. I can't put my finger on it. It just felt hokey to me. How was that dragon flying also? Just all purely magic? It had no wings.
Hold on. Nobody rode a dragon in Lord of the Rings. Tolkien was a classy guy. But it's the only example I can think of off the top of my head. Where there's a dragon, you don't ride the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, you do. You have to. It's a flying... It's cool. This dragon did not breathe fire. That was a little bit different.
It seemed more water-based.
Oh, absolutely.
I like that it was a traditional Chinese dragon.
Yeah.
Not our westernized dragons with their huge wings and legs and arms.
And it was just lying dormant down there, I guess, until Shang Chi got closer because the mom said something like, you have the heart of our dragon. I don't know. I need more backstory. I need more information about Talo. I need to know why. Was she important in Talo? Was he like a prince practically? Like, why does he have the heart of the dragon? Why does she?
His mom was like the protector, right? She was the gatekeeper.
She was outside, and I found it interesting that they never replaced her. Like when they got back there in the...
Like, a bummer.
She
was the only one.
They were like, oh, well, there's no one here anymore, and it's been decades, but they just decided not to replace her. That was kind of strange. So, what did you think of... I felt like Razor Fist, the guy with the big, like, blade for an arm.
Handsome fellow.
He reminded me, like, too much of Ulysses Claw with his arm thing. I was just like, okay, now we have another one of these.
If you lose your hand, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I like Captain
It's
Hook.
a hook, it's a claw,
it.
maybe a club of some sort, but your options are limited. Maybe,
I suppose.
like a gun.
Well, Ulysses Claw, that he had that like vibranium gun thingy that would open up
cannon.
and shoot the vibranium, but it just felt a whole lot like him. And I guess that guy is still a bad guy. Now he's working for the sister.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, this goes back to an argument you and I have.
Oh boy.
Just because you do something good doesn't not make you a bad guy. All those terrorists that fought against the evil soul suckers that were going to destroy the universe, still bad guys.
But I think that could have been a turning point for them. It wasn't. In this case, he went back, but it could have been a turning point where they're like, oh, I'm going to work for good now.
Yeah, but they didn't. They were never working for good. They were working for their own survival, their own self-interest, their own loved ones, maybe. But it did not have an altruistic purpose at heart.
Well, we don't, you know what? To her benefit, Su Ling, if that's how you say her name, the sister, we don't know what she's trading all those people for. Maybe they're going to be good people.
True. Good people who belong to the Ten Rings terrorist organization.
It's a stretch. Well, she could just be like rebranding. It's rebranding.
Could be rebranding. Could be. We'll
How
wait and
could
see.
she even call them the Ten Rings when she doesn't have the 10 rings anymore?
The Ten Rings, yeah. I mean, there's a Ten Rings. There's the Ten Rings terrorist organization, which has a lot of branches throughout the world.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
Because remember, the people who captured Tony Stark in Iron Man 1.
Yes.
10 Rings.
Yes. You are correct. I didn't realize that until I saw somebody else point it out. They had the banner like behind him in that little video they made of him, the ransom video or whatever. There was a banner with the 10 rings behind it. They really have just, it is mind-blowing and incredible how they have constructed 25 movies.
Kevin Feige has really got a, it's like you have to imagine his office just one giant timeline. He's just going to be like, all right, this guy was here. Going to loop him forward to here. And then
he is Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah,
he is in charge of the timeline. It is very impressive. I think that I have touched on pretty much everything, except I did want to say, since we just brought up the 10 rings themselves, that I can't wait to see like what's up with those. Like at the end scene where they had Captain Marvel and they had, and you know what? Some time must have passed after Endgame because Captain Marvel's hair was short, right? Like super short at Endgame. Mm-hmm. And it was at least my length now.
There you go.
So maybe that's kind of how we decide.
At least a couple months.
The time frame. I would say, yeah, 6 to 12 months probably.
Could be more. It could be years. She could have gotten a haircut or two. Who knows?
You're right. I know. But it's definitely been at least 6 months.
Yeah.
6 to 12 months. So, I mean, they were analyzing that, and they're like, what is this stuff? What did they say? I don't remember. The way they showed it, they almost tried to portray to me, it was like they were trying to say that it was sentient. Like that thing in the middle looked almost like, kind of like when they picked apart Ultron and Vision or Jarvis or whatever, that it looked...
Another Infinity Stone, only it's divided into 10 rings.
Like
it's not
like,
that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Is it a different dimension?
Yeah, it seemed like it's not of Earth.
Yeah.
It's ancient.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, because they said, Wu had it for 1,000 years, but they are absolutely older than that even. Like, it's just another piece of the story that I can't wait to see what they actually are and where they came from. And are there people, or are there a whole people group who are looking for them? And is that going to be the next Shang-Chi movie? It's like these people are back for their 10 rings.
There's a people group in their souls or the spirits are inside the 10 rings. That's what powers them.
What?
Could be. We're just theorizing here.
Wow. That's an interesting theory. Because what does power them? They are powerful.
They are quite powerful.
Okay, Sherif, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I like the movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. One of my buddies, Brandon, wants to go see it, and I told him I'll go see it with him. So
I liked it more than I thought I would. I really didn't have any expectations going into it, and I really enjoyed it. I would like to see it again. I almost went to see it yesterday. I didn't end up having time because I thought, if I could just sit one more viewing under my belt before we make this podcast, then that would be great. But
yeah, it was fun. So what do you rate it?
Okay, 1 out of 10, like 1 out of 100, like.
How much flexibility do you need?
It's just hard because 1 out of 10 is like there's already 25 movies, so it's hard for me to give it like the same number as I would give another. You know what I mean? Let's do 1 out of 100. Okay. It was better than average, so it's definitely above 50. I wouldn't put it in the 90s. I would maybe give it like 78.
I'll go
feels
higher.
Good to me.
I'll probably put it maybe in the 86 range.
Okay. Not that much higher than me, but we're both in the upper quarter of the range.
You're a CVCA D+. I'm a CVCA B-.
There you go. It was good. I would see it again. You should go see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
It's worth your time.
You should also make sure that you go ahead and save this podcast to whichever podcast provider you are listening to us through. Subscribe,
not save. Yeah, you want to subscribe.
Put it in your library.
Like, you could even rate.
Excuse me?
You could rate like 5 stars.
Please. Can you tell this is new to me? This is great.
It's adorable as she, like a yearling colt, just discovering a brand new world out there. Listen, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time, or you will hear us next time on Lend Me Your Ears.
We didn't get a Friends, Humans, Disney Fans, and I still kind of want to hear it. Can we just get a...
Friends, Humans, Disney Fans, lend me your ears.
There it is.
There we go.
You'll hear it next time. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.